Hey guys, Lucy Fluffy here, and yes, the video that you guys have been waiting for forever, I am finally making it. The den decorating tips video. Oh my gosh, the reason I have not done this video yet so far because when I'm decorating dens, I really don't know where my ideas come from. They kind of just pop into my head. So it's really hard for me. It took a long time for me think of tips and think of how and why I do some of these things, and then make a list and write them down so I could actually make a video on it. So hopefully that these tips are actually helpful and they make sense, because I don't know how to explain them. It's very hard. I will try and explain it best I can, but if you guys don't find it helpful, I'm sorry, but here are just some of the things that I have discovered that I do, that I've noticed, and I'm able to put it into words. So let's see how this goes. Alright, let's just start out with the walls and the floors. When you are picking out the walls and the floors for your den, make sure that one or the other, the walls and the floors, they're not both too busy. And what I mean by too busy is tons of crazy patterns on both of them. If you're going to have the walls have a ton of weird patterns like this one, then don't make the floor another crazy pattern, because they clash and it doesn't look very good. It just looks way too complicated, and it draws attention away from the den items. If you're going to go with a wallpaper like this, go with a simple floor like the wooden floor, because then it doesn't draw attention away from your items. See, right here, it looks really too busy. So if you want to go with a certain floor that's really pattern and complicated, go with a more simple wall, just something plain. Where's the one I want? There aren't very many plain walls, but not a good example. Go with something like this, something that looks less complicated. And if you can, try and make the walls and the floor match or have something in common. If you're making a beach den, I'm in the beach house den right now, so kind of make your walls and your floors match the den items that you're going to be using. Or if you want your den to have a specific theme or something, make the walls and the floor have something in common. There was a water effect on one of these floors. It was this one, the slate floor. See how now it looks like you're kind of underwater on a ship or something? The floors, see the walls and the floors, they match and they have something in common. Let's give another example. Let's use this floor. This is my favorite floor in this den. Now let's find a wallpaper that matches, that has the colors that it has in the floor. Let's experiment. The wallpaper and the flooring are a huge part of what make the den. If you don't have the right wallpaper and the right floorings, it throws off the entire den. It just doesn't look right if you don't have the right walls and floors. Here's one that could work. See this one on the floor, you can see little tints of green and pink and everything, and then the wallpapers have green and pink on it, so it kind of they complement each other, I think. Alright, and once you get the wall and the wallpapers and the flooring that you want, try and make your items have the same kinds of colors that are in the walls and the floors. There's pink and green and purple and everything. This would probably look good because it has the pink and the purple and some green on it and everything. If you're gonna have a certain colors, don't throw in a bunch of weird colors that clash together that aren't even in the walls and the floors. Let me give an example. Let's take these red couches for example. They don't match the den. They are red. They're kind of clashing with the walls and the floors. They're not really looking like they belong in the den. Oh, this is so hard to explain. Yeah, okay, like I said, make your den items match your wallpapers and your floors, and then build on that to create your den. If you don't add any items in there that clash or look like they don't belong, then I guarantee you it will look so much better. Alright guys, another tip I have for you is, you see how dens places have big open areas, and some places are like really small. For the big open areas, you can put big items in them and like build on that. But if you have a small area like this little deck, go for smaller den items. Then it won't like crowd the whole section and it looks like you have more room and it's bigger than it actually is. Alright, for example, look, the giant caterpillar couch. That can look good in some cases, but it takes up like half of this little platform right here and makes it look smaller. So like that, it takes up the entire place. So go small, and with like example with these chairs. See, then it looks bigger than it actually is. You kind of see what I'm saying? I don't know. Big couch takes up big area. Little chair takes up small area and leaves room for more den items. If you're not planning on putting like much over here, it's okay to put like a big couch or a big item right there. But if you want to build onto that, I would go small. Alright, another tip I have for you is give it life. Give your den life. Make it look like somebody lives there. So here's an example. Here's my little living room. This isn't one of my best, but I'm just giving an example. You're in your little living room, and let's say your animal wants to sit down here. And see, he has something to do while he's sitting down here. He can drink tea, and then if he sits over here, he can read a book. And like I was gonna like add TVs or something, and they have a clock up here, check the time. So it's like, if you're gonna like over here, instead of like just a kitchen with a table or something you sit at a table and you eat. You're actually doing something. You're over here, you can open the refrigerator, like plan everything out in your room, like how your animal can get to it, and sort of picture yourself in the den. If you were in this den, what would you do? What would you do in it? And how would you do it? A good example of this is my beach house den decorating that I did last summer, and I did this whole thing where I made this whole beach with plushies to pretend to be the people and pets. I lined them all up at the ice cream cart and pretend somebody was behind it, like how they're interacting. Like I'm giving it life, give them somebody to be in the den. And like I say, I made the whole beach. I made them all, every single one in there, I made them doing something. Some of them are sunbathing, some of them are in the water, some of them are in a sandcastle, some of them are operating the little drink huts and everything, and some of them are going down slides and everything. So it's like, you could use plushies to make it look like somebody lives there, or you could do it yourself, but whether you use your animal or plushies, if you set up your den items for detail and like have everything like be how it would in real life, how you would have it up, like you're sitting at a table and there's a drink there and there's a book there, pretend you're there. You were there and you were doing things. They will make the den look so much cuter, and like it gives it a living feeling to it. It makes it feel like you're actually there in the den, and I love the way that feels. I don't even know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but it feels really cool. Alright, the next tip I have is to make things symmetrical. I know this is probably like, everybody already knows this, but people don't know like how important it is to be able to do symmetry in a den. If you don't make things symmetrical, it just doesn't look as good. If you try and make everything match each other in the den, it just ends up looking so great. That's why I always make sure I have at least 2 of something, so when I want to decorate with it, I can make them side by side like these couches. and then add things around it to complete like the whole symmetry look. See how I did like both fountains on each side and to be like matching up with the couches? And then you can also, you do this a lot, if you're like, if you make two things symmetry, if you only have one of something, that can go in the middle and then make it look even cooler, like right there. If everything has like a mirrored look, it just, everything complements each other in the den, and it looks so well laid out, and it feels like everything is like put in order and neat, kind of. So like back how I was saying about how I have at least two of something, that leads me to my next tip. Have a lot of each item. This is why I'm able to create dens, because I stock up on a bunch of each individual item. Like these bushes, for example, I buy a ton of them. The more items you have of each type of item, the more creative things you can do with them. It's very hard to make something creative if you don't have a lot of it. When you're looking at items in the store, look at each one and think about what they would look like together, like, or built onto each item. Like if you had two of these chairs, you could put these two chairs together and make a longer chair. If you had more of these rugs, you could make one huge rug. If you had more of these windows, you could make a ginormous window by putting them together. Like have a ton of items and then combine them together to make one big item. That's what I do in a lot of my videos. That's why I always like completely have my inventory full, because I have so many different types of items that are the same type, but I have so many. Like look at all my rainbow pathways. I probably have at least 100 slots filled with these. And my rainbow couches, the curtains, the picket fences. I've got loads of things that are more than one of each other, so I can always do something with them. Alright, here's one you guys will get a kick out of. How I've come up with a lot of my den ideas is when I'm just placing furniture out and it all overlaps each other. Sometimes when I'm putting things out, something overlaps with one another, and then I get an idea. Like, see, before, this pillow, it was on top of this couch, and then, like, that's how I first came up with my first bed. That was how I realized that I could combine the pillows over, like, the couches, and then combine them more to make, like, a bed. So, if you want to get some crazy ideas by accident, and then continue them in the future, stack all your items up on each other. You will probably get some really cool ideas out of it. I can't tell you how many times I have had thought of cool ideas just from stacking items on top of each other and discovering it by accident. It really works, and I recommend you try it. Just put a bunch of random items out and see what you see, and see what you can create. Alright, next tip is know when to quit. Yes, you're probably saying, Lucy, you're not the one that should be telling us to know when to quit, because you go all out and you completely go crazy in each one of your dens. Yes, I am aware of this, but when I go crazy with my dens, I try and make them look a good kind of crazy. There is actually a difference. You can actually make something look too crazy and too cluttered. When I try and make my dens, like the rainbow den, some people see crazy and cluttered. I still see it doesn't look as cluttered, it just looks really cool. Like, I was planning on adding a couple more things to the living room, but I was like, no, I should stop there. That's like a little too much. So, even I can stop sometimes when I know I shouldn't add anything more and take something away. I do that a lot. Another example would be right here. I was going to add a sun rug underneath here. I thought it looked pretty cool, but it kind of drawed attention away from the table, and you can't really see the glass as well, and I thought it just looked too busy. It was just a little bit too much, so I took the rug away, and I think I like the way it looks before, so like sometimes less is more, I think. Okay, this one is important. You have to plan out the den before you make it. Know where your rooms are going to be, what is going to go where, and then what I do is, like, if this is going to be the living room, I put all of my living room type items out at once, and then if I see a kitchen item then that I want to use for the kitchen, I like say the kitchen's going to be right here, and I move all the tables that I want up there, and then as I scroll through my inventory, look at all of the certain items that would go with each room. Like, plan out which room you want, which room to be in, which den items to be in. Then once you have all your den items in there, you can just spread them out any way you want, and it's easier than just like going through your inventory trying to find the right item just to place in one spot as you're working on each room. If you place the items first and plan out which room you're going to put these items in, it doesn't take as much time, and it's so much easier to actually get started on the den and not want to quit. The books, living room, up here, chairs I want, kitchen, rocking chair, living room, these tables I want, bedroom, cake bake kitchen, down the kitchen, yeah, and so on. Alright, this one is kind of important. People ask me, like, how do you get all of your dens to look like look so well with the theme that you came up with for the den? Like, how I get all of the items to look like that. I go through my inventory and I look at each item and be like, let's say I'm doing Sir Gilbert's decorating den. I look through my inventory and I'm like, what looks like Sir Gilbert? Look for his colors, like red, gold, and brown. What would look good in his den? Everything that looks like Sir Gilbert, transfer to my account. I don't know what I'm gonna use. Everything I'm gonna use in the den, but sometimes I have leftovers of things that I haven't used, but I transfer all of the stuff that I think I will use in the den, and I use most of them. So it's like everything that I think looked like Sir Gilbert, that's what I use for the den, and it's like it did look like him once I put it in the den. Look at the colors of whatever type of den you're doing. Like if you're doing Peck's den, I went for like her artsy theme and purples and pinks and gold to match her fur and everything. I tried to make everything look like her. And then same thing goes for holidays. If you're going to decorate for Thanksgiving or something, look for items that look like Thanksgiving, have the Thanksgiving colors of like the fall leaves. I always went with brown, yellow, red, and orange. Those are fall leaf colors, so it's like look for things that color and look for things that would look good in a Thanksgiving den. And that's how I come up with what items I'm supposed to use and what items I need to transfer to my account for each season and each den. Yeah, so there you go. There's me trying and struggling to explain how I decorate and give you guys some tips, and hopefully some of it, or maybe even just one of them, was helpful. So if you have more questions, ask me in the comments, and then I could actually reply with maybe a useful answer, because I think I'm better at typing than talking. So sorry if this was not the kind of video that you were expecting or a helpful one, but I hope it helped you in some cases. So that's pretty much it for this video, and I will see you guys in my next one, which will probably be more helpful. So thanks for watching this long, and goodbye guys.